1 spider spawner, 2 spider spawner, 3 spider spawner, and 4 spider spawner. So yeah, we can build this 4 spawner spider farm here, and there's also a slime chunk somewhere over here, so we're gonna build the slime farm first, and then we can build the spider farm, and it's gonna be like this really cool farming complex over here. Now we also did die when we were exploring these caves, so I'm level 3 and I have this iron sword, but like it's not a big deal. We lost a lot of stuff, but like none of it was irreplaceable, so it's going to be fine. I used the website to see where the slime chunks are, and it turned out that there were 4 slime chunks right next to each other, so we're gonna be able to build a really big slime farm. But first thing that I actually want to do before I get to even building is I want to make a railroad from here over to the place where all the farms are, because I think it would be really convenient and look really cool. So I'm gonna start on that project, and then I'm gonna carve out the area that's gonna be the slime farm. I decided to make a map room to like show the entire complex that we have, and there's this fucking green marker where the map room is, which is super annoying, and it can't be removed. So I wish there was a fix for that, but since there aren't, I guess we're gonna deal. But yeah, this shows our entire complex now, and I think it looks pretty cool, and it should update whenever we make changes and stuff. So it's gonna be like this dynamic map that's gonna reflect everything we do. I cleared out the area where slimes could spawn, at least according to the map. I haven't seen any spawn yet, but hopefully we'll see some soon, and we'll get to like start building a farm, because I don't want to build a farm here if I don't even know that slimes can spawn. I also made the spider spawners more like fleshed out, and I made sure that there are like you can see all of them from one place, because when I'm building a farm I'm gonna have to like consider all of these spawners, so it's going to be a lot easier now that I can like see where all the spawners are. I cleared out the first spawning room for the cave spiders. The killing mechanism hasn't been implemented yet, so they're just gonna pile up for a while, because for some reason they spawn even when their spawners are completed, surrounded by torches. The second spawning room is now cleared out. I'm finally done with the last chamber. There were so many spiders here that spawned when I was doing it. They died like 5 or 4 times. I don't even know how many times they died. Yeah, this was really like a massive effort, and it's done now. And as you can see, even with the torches, there are just a ton of spiders that spawn. So trying to do work with those was a ton of effort, especially given that this was the biggest chamber by far. But now, I think we have to convert it into like this massive tunnel system that connects all the chambers, which is gonna be a big job too, but I don't think it'll be as difficult as clearing out this chamber was. I made these water lines through which the spiders could be transported, but it's not functional, so I'm gonna give up on the farm for now. Like I don't think it's important enough, I guess, at this point, because I want to go into other things, so I'm going to return this later when I figure out the design and it's going to be done. There's going to be a farm here. I just currently can't predict what shape it might take. So with the slime farm, there's another problem too. I have not seen a single slime spawn in any of these chunks, so they're either not slime chunks or slime just don't spawn often enough for me to ever have seen one here. So it doesn't look like these farming endeavors were successful, and I would probably need someone's help to figure out the way to do it and make all of this work. But I have no idea how to do it myself. So all I know is that slimes can spawn somewhere around here. I don't know if in those specific chunks, and there are these 4 spawners here. Now this might have been a failure in a lot of ways, and probably more ways than it was a success in, especially none of this just works at all. I need a system that would actually like accomplish something. Like I even can barely get the XP, sometimes you can't even get the XP. So this has not led anywhere, but I'm still going to make a railroad here, because I'm not going to give up hope, and I want this to result in like an actual actual farming complex, I guess. And there might be a way in hope, and absolutely nothing might come from that, but like, I know I like the idea too much to just give up on it completely. So yeah, if you have any ideas on how to fix either the slimes or the spiders, please let me know, because I'm at my wit's end. So I marked out what's going to be the railroad, and then I'm gonna experiment with a few designs over in this section to see how they would look both on the sand and in the water. I figured out the design I like. The stone part kinda swoops upward here to give support to the wood, and in the sides it kinda holds it together, and I think it makes a lot of logical sense, and I think it should be the stone brick. And now it might be strange to have the railroad on wood, but I think the contrast with the stone brick looks really good, and I think it'll look really great to drive through, and I think the railroad texture will match really well with the wood texture. So this is going to be our design for the railroad, and we just now have to tile this design a bunch of times, which will take a lot of time, but it'll be so worth it once it's done and finished. I finished the section of the railway that goes through the desert, and it's starting to look really good. Like, even from up top it looks cool, but like from the side here it has this like nice pillar aesthetic. I have to do a bunch of terraforming later because to like make everything work together, I guess. But for now I'm happy enough with it as it is, and then we also have to figure out how to make the switch from here to the underground section, but that's not relevant at the present moment. I absolutely hate creepers. Like, I don't care that they kill me, that's just a minor inconvenience, right? But the fucking fact that they leave these fucking holes behind that take like way more effort than they're worth to fix, but then they're just ugly, and it's just so dumb. Like, and I should just turn mob griefing on off or something, but like, I know that feels like cheating, so I don't know what to do. I guess I'm just annoyed right now. I finished the railroad and I kinda like it how it looks, but it's a bit monotonous. So what I want to do is I want to add some cracked stone bricks, I want to add some polished andesite and such, and just give it like a more textured look. And after that I can just create a station here and connect these two things. And this is probably just gonna be a start of the railroad system. Ideally I'd have like this giant railroad all over the world when I move out, because after the Sky Horizon series ends, which it might do like after this episode even, I don't even know, I'm gonna go to a different part of the world, and then we can just connect that with a railroad. So I think this is a good start for a much bigger project, and I just have to refine it a bit, and I have to finish it. Since I'm building the railway, I'm back here at the spider farm, and it's actually working way better now than it was before, which I don't know why it is like this, but even though I get poisoned when I'm in the wrong spot, I'm getting actually a bunch of spiders spawn and get here. So I think it kinda might have fixed itself, or maybe unloading it and then reloading it made something happen with the spawn rates, but I'm not sure. Now, there's still the problem with XP, but I think that's much easier to fix than just not enough spiders spawning. And then some spiders get stuck up there, which is entirely my fault because I didn't properly path it out, which is also completely solvable, but I think it works now, just at least sufficient enough to be a worthwhile build. So I'm happy that it's functional and not dysfunctional, I guess. I noticed that there was a pretty big problem with flow in the main big chamber in the spider farm, and then when I went to clear it out and get rid of that specific problem, I just kept dying to spiders over and over again, and now I have accepted the reality that I can't get my stuff back. And it wasn't relevant enough to like really care, but it's still kinda annoying. Yeah, like if I keep losing my stuff constantly like this, it's gonna be like annoying, I guess, but like, I mean, the funny thing is that if I had actually used this farm and if it actually worked and I got enchantments, then I would care. I also forgot to mention that the reason the stuff just doesn't flow to the collection area is the same problem with the flow of water that I aim to fix, where it just gets stuck in the middle of the room instead of being directed outwards. So that's like dramatic irony. here just mining with my iron pickaxe, and then I found 2 iron veins that seem to have run into each other and created like a super vein, also diamonds. I ran into this cave when I was mining, and there are 2 diamond deposits right next to each other, and that's pretty cool. I managed to die again, and once again I can't get anything back, so I'm just giving up on going to caves or doing anything dangerous for now. And I'll be way more cautious whenever I'm doing something that even like poses a slight risk, because I know I'm gonna die. I expanded the map we have here at the map room, so now it has the first island, the mountain, the second island, and also the railroad, which is also basically finished. So it's not that long, but we're still gonna have to do the connecting parts, and the current plan is to completely take that island down and rebuild it from scratch to make it like a good terminal for the railroad. This is how the railroad looks close up. Now, I don't really like the polished andesite, but I haven't found anything I like any better than it, so I'm gonna stick with it because I need there to be some texture here, and it's good enough to be better than it was without texture. Now, ideally I would have something that sticks out less and is more of a smooth texture, but smooth andesite, not unpolished andesite, didn't do the job, and smooth stone just blended in too much. So I don't really know what to do about this, but it's the best I can make it with the blocks I know to use. So that's gonna be it. So it doesn't look as big as I would have hoped it to be, but it's sizable enough that I can just move from one place to another and like appreciate the build, I guess. It's a landmark definitely, which is what I was going for. Now the terminals are gonna be there, which is gonna be a completely rebuilt island, so I don't even know how I'm gonna do it. And then there will have to be another terminal over here, which is going to be this fucking underground thing. So I'm gonna have to like change and make like an entire like elaborate underground tunnel to make it like make sense that leads down there. Now I don't know if I'll actually use the slime or spider farms at any point, but I really want to have the ability to, so I'm going to finish it. So the designs work better now than they used to for a spider farm at least. So there's a solid chance we're gonna renovate the spider farm and then use it, but it's not certain yet. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna work on the terminals. I have finally cleared out this entire ugly island. It actually turned out to be a really long project, and I had to not use my diamond pickaxe for the end of it because I ran out of durability. So I had to finish the very end of it with the iron pickaxe, but now that the area is clear, I can start building like an actual terminal here. And my idea is I'm gonna have a few pillars in the ocean there, and they're gonna be connected with like this staircase building. It took an unbelievably long time to make this arch look anywhere close to decent, but I think it looks good now. And now it's just a matter of building a building over here, and then that's the actual hard part after after the building is done, because you have to do all of the terraforming and stuff. But yeah, right now the arch is complete, so the railroad itself only has that small bend there to take care of, which will probably be hard, but I don't think it'll be as hard as the arch was. This is the first iteration of my bend pole thing. Now this one, every one of them has had problems, and this one's only real problems. It looks great from this angle, but it looks kinda not great from like the opposite angle back here. And especially like it doesn't look great from the side, so I might have to like maybe think about that, but I'm like just completely done with it for now. I know I still have the texture, but that can come later, because I wanna just work on something else, because I've just been working on it for so long, and I'm finally happy with how it looks, so I'm just not gonna do anything. So yeah, I'm gonna move over and do the garden on the top of that floating island, because that's been on the back burner for a long time and I finally want to get around to it. I had to go searching for flowers to like fill up this garden, and originally I wanted to make like these pink flowers and find pink flowers and then make like this orderly pattern, but the only pink flowers I found were the large 2-block high ones, so it just kinda is like a messier garden now, I guess. I don't really mind, it can be a bit messy. Look at how this island looks from above, it's so pretty, and I think this is the most important view, so it worked out really well, I guess. I'm making concrete for the first time in Minecraft, and I can see why this is so tedious to a lot of people. I think I could get into it and I could relax while doing it if I just have enough time and get into the flow and just like stare at the screen, but like with the amount, which isn't great, that we're doing right now, this just feels like an unnecessary chore, I guess. If you have a large amount of concrete to make, I guess we'll just build a machine. I tried to do something complex here, but it completely failed, so I think it's just the best to have it as a completely inoffensive island, I guess. And then instead of a staircase going up to some weird contraption up there, I'm just gonna have the railroad come down, and then there's gonna be like a small station over here, and I think that's just gonna work the best. This section of the railway is finally completed, and we can take a ride for the first time. Yeah, this is well, it doesn't have enough power trails here, and we need to put more power trails here apparently. But yeah, once that's sorted out and that area will be done, and all that's left to do is build a terminal, so it's not just a railroad just going nowhere. For practical reasons, I had to really simplify this bend over here. And then that immediately fixed all of the irregularities in the design. So all we had to do was just simplify it, and it all just clicks now. And I'm really happy with how it is. I have a very specific aesthetic of the terminal, and I don't know how close to it I am, because I really like the white concrete and I really like the wood individually. I really like the granite individually too, but I don't like how they like interact with each other. I don't like how the wood meets the concrete, and I don't like how the granite meets the concrete. So there's something that needs to be done that I haven't quite figured out. This is the end of the episode. The terminal will be left to the next episode, and I'll probably tear it down and experiment and create with a bunch of different designs, so it won't even be recognizable probably. But behind the scenes, this entire episode has been a massive testament to failure. I wanted this out like 3 or 4 days ago, but like everything I've done has just failed so hard that I haven't gotten like any decent footage from it. That bend there had like, I had to rebuild it from the bottom and mine out all the blocks in the waters like so many times, like 3 or 4 times at least, and that took such a long time, and that was such a big effort, and now I completely have rebuilt it, and it happened to just work out perfectly, which is nice, I guess. That gate also took such a long time, and I had to like get the design. I had to try so many things with the design before it looked like even close to being right. Then those spawners back there and farms, I just didn't build them properly like that. That just took forever, and I didn't really achieve the results I wanted. But the spider farm, at least conceptually, I think works, and just requires some tweaks to be properly functional. The only thing that actually worked in the first attempt were the pillars themselves and the railroad, because figuring out the design wasn't that hard, and then tiling it was pretty easy too. Like it took a few attempts to get the design in the way I wanted it to, but it wasn't a big thing. But yeah, then that terraforming project, I completely failed the first time because I wanted to do something way cooler. And now looking at it from above, I think it needs one more support pillar or something over there, but I'm not quite sure how to do it. That's another thing I'll have to think about. Yeah, I tried to do this really fancy thing where there would be like this hill, and there would be like a thing on top of the hill, and then it would just like meet up perfectly. And that did not work out at all. It just looked awful. And then I had to tear it down and rebuild it and just make it like a inoffensive island. Yeah, this entire episode was behind the scenes, was just a failure after failure after failure, and that's not even counting all the times I died and had to rebuild, and it was all just a mess. It was all just a big mess. But yeah, now that we're out of this episode, I'm hoping the next time we'll just make more progress and be more successful, and I'll get the next episode out in a reasonable time instead of having to wait like, what was it, like over a week, like 8 or 9 days for episode, because that's just how long this took to make.